All right, so today we're studying chapter 7 and chapter 8, and we are actually going to complete probability, which is chapter 7, and chapter 8, which is statistics, together. And so our learning goal for today is I can understand how the probability of an event indicates its likelihood. So before we start, I want you to do a warm-up, kind of a review, but also kind of a foreshadowing of what we're going to cover today. And I'm asking you guys, which team would you bet on for winning the World Series, and then explain why. These are actually real statistics that I took prior to kind of everything shutting down. But we have the Astros, which has a 4 out of 9 chance of winning. The Dodgers, which has a 2 out of 5 chance of winning. The Royals, which has a 1 out of 500 chance of winning. And Cardinals, which has a probability of a 1 out of 25 chance of winning. And so I want you guys to turn these into percents and see which one you would bet on. And it doesn't have to be the best percent. You just have to be able to explain why you would choose the team that you are. So go ahead and do that. And then we're going to start with some vocab. All right, so vocabulary, we have outcomes, events, and favorable outcomes. So outcomes are the possible results of an experiment. So probability kind of uses science and math together to help us make an assumption or a prediction about the future. So we are just kind of predicting what is going to happen. That does not mean that we are always right. But we can use the probability to help us kind of give an indication of what can happen. And so the outcomes are the results of our experiment that we do. That gives us kind of a look at kind of the future, what could happen in the future. The event is a collection of one or more outcomes, and so the event is what we're looking at. So it's the specific part of the experiment that we're looking at, the results of this specific part. Favorable outcomes are the outcomes of a specific event, also called favorable outcomes. So this would be the outcome of the event. So the event is the specific thing that we're looking at, and then the favorable outcomes would be the specific event's outcomes. So we call those the favorable outcomes. Our experiment will have multiple outcomes, and then our event, we kind of narrow in on one, and then our favorable outcomes would be the answers or the prediction for that specific event. All right, so using this, it kind of seems kind of random, but we're going to label using our vocab, kind of what would happen here. We have 6 marbles, and these are our outcomes. I'm actually going to put the word possible in front of it because it doesn't mean we're going to draw every single marble. It means that these are the options that we have to choose between. So I want to know the likelihood of choosing a green marble. And so that means I'm narrowing in on only our green marbles, which would be our event. The 6 marbles that we have, so we have 2 green, 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 pinkish purple, depending on whatever color you see there. And so we have 2 green marbles, so our favorable outcomes means that we have 2 outcomes that could be green. All right, so now we're going to identify outcomes. You're asked how many outcomes are there for this spinner. And so with probability, we have to be super specific. And so we're actually going to write down all of the outcomes. And so I have a purple, I have a red, and I'm working this way just so you guys know. I have a blue, I have another red, I have a green, and then I have another red. And so when I count these all up, I have 6 total outcomes. That part seems a little like repetitive, that we would write down red multiple times. But the thing is, on Big Ideas, it'll ask you guys to tell me what are the possible outcomes. And on your homework, it'll actually have you like drag out how many possible outcomes, and you will need to put however many reds there are or however many greens there are. So you need to have that many words. So the word red needs to show up 3 times if it asks you how many possible outcomes. So we have to account for all of them because it takes up this part of the spinner 3 times. And since it takes up that part of the spinner 3 times, we have to have it on there 3 times. If we only had it on there 1 time, then it would look like our spinner in fourths, which would have accounted for red 1 time. And so then you'd have red, green, blue, and purple. And so that spinner does not look anything like this spinner, so we need to be super specific about all that. All right, so in how many ways can you spin a red? So like we have above, we have red, red, and red. So that gives us 3 possible options for landing on red. If I spin this red, that's different from spinning this one or this one. And so we have to make sure that we account for all of them, so we have 3. Our event is spinning a red, so this is our event. And then our favorable outcome would be 3. And how many ways can you spin not a purple? So now we want to know, how can I not spin a purple? So we have the option, or the outcomes, I just rewrote it from down here. So our outcomes, or possible outcomes, we had red, purple, blue, red, green, red. And so now I don't want a purple. So now that I don't want a purple, I have the options 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So I have 5 possible outcomes. So it says in how many ways, so that's our 5, and then what are the favorable outcomes? This would be your answer. So on your homework, when it says what are the favorable outcomes, it'll have you actually drag those colors. And like I said earlier, you need to drag the word red 3 times if it's in there 3 times. Alright, so now I'm going to have you try, and then you are going to check your answers with mine. Alright, so how many possible outcomes are there? So we have green, blue, yellow, red, purple, yellow, yellow, blue. And so there are 8 possible outcomes when you actually count them all up. And I tried to actually color code it all so you can see my work. And so you can just count the marbles as well. And how many ways can you choose? In how many ways can choosing a blue occur? So we had a blue here and a blue here, and so since we had 2 blues, we have blue, blue, which is 2 outcomes, and that's our favorable outcome. In how many ways can choosing not yellow occur? So I rewrote all of my possible outcomes, and I crossed off the yellows. You also can see I did it up here too if you didn't want to write all of those down. And so I got 5 favorable outcomes. And that means that I can either pick a green, blue, red, purple, or blue. You'll notice I put blue in there twice because I could choose this blue or I could choose this blue. That was supposed to be an arrow. Alright, so now we're going to look at some more vocab, which would be the word probability, which is kind of what our whole chapter 7 is about. And so the probability is a number that represents the likelihood that an event will occur. And the probabilities are always between the numbers 0 and 1. And so the reason it's between 0 and 1 is because when we turn those numbers into percents, which means we multiply by 100, we're between 0% and 100%. And so we can't have it larger than 1 because 100% is already the whole thing, or completely certain. If I'm 100%, that means that you got, there's no leeway for error. I want everybody to study this because this is like the most important graph. Probability is talked about in percents, and so whenever we talk about the percentage of something happening, that's the probability. And so if you have if it is impossible, that means it is completely 0% chance of it happening. If you're at a 25% chance of it happening, then that means it's unlikely. If you are at if you're at a 50%, then it's equal to happen or not happen. So it's 50-50 chance. If you're at a 75% chance, then it's likely that it will happen. And then if you are 100% certain, if you're 100%, then you're certain that it will happen. Like, there is no error room. It is all, like, it will happen no matter what. So, for example, there is an 80% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. So 80% chance is about here-ish, and so we are going to be near that likely. So this would be likely. There's a 15% chance of hail tomorrow. So 15, that is going to be over in between impossible or likely, but we can't say it's impossible because impossible has to be exactly 0. So since it's not exactly 0, it is just unlikely. So in order to be impossible or certain, it has to be 100 or 0. It cannot be close to impossible. Even if it's close to impossible, like a 1%, there's still, if it's like a 1% of happening, then like you still have a chance of it happening. So we can't say it's impossible. There's a 50% chance of rain, and so this is as equal to happen as to not happen. So I'm just going to write the word equal. So now you're going to give it a try and you're going to check your answers with mine. Alright, so the probability that you land a jump on a snowboard is 1 out of 10. So this is just somebody who's doing it. They have a 1 out of 10 chance of making it. So we're going to divide 1 divided by 10 times 100 to turn it into a percent. So that way we can use our scale. And since it's 10%, it's unlikely because even though it's going to be closer here on our graph, it's not impossible. He still has 10%, like a 10% chance of making it. And so it is unlikely. There is a 100% chance that the temperature will be less than 120 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow. That is certain because they said there is a 100% chance. So a lot of the times you hear on, like when they're doing the weather on the news, they say the likelihood of something happening. They're using probability, so they're using their predictions that they've made based on their experiments to decide the percentage, and then they use that percentage from the experiment that they've ran, and that's how they are able to give us the news. And that's why if they tell us that it's supposed to snow and then it doesn't snow, they aren't wrong because they're trying to predict the future. So they're just using their resources and their math and their experiments to try to determine whether or not it's going to happen. And so they're not wrong when they do that. It just means that the likelihood it ended up swaying the other way. And so a lot of the times we see probability with the weather. We also see it a lot in sports. If you watch sports, they're always like, oh, well, the probability of this team winning the Super Bowl or the probability of this team winning. They use that a lot. And so that's just based on old games that they're trying to make predictions about future games. And so you kind of see probability a lot more in the real world than you do see a lot of the other math that we've learned so far. So now I want you to start your homework. It's on big ideas.